Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Townsend. For those of you who don't know me, I am the principal at Calhoun High School. I'm going to give you this disclaimer. I am at work on a 10-hour shift. So if you hear the phone ring or somebody comes in while I'm recording this video, you will understand that I am at work, but I wanted to get this lesson to you today. Number one, you're going to have to open up a Google email account before you can participate in these lessons, because we're going to be operating through Google Classrooms. And the code for the classes, I'm going to text that to Mr. Thomas, so he'll give you the code to enter the classroom. But you need to set up a Google account and go to Google Classrooms and put in that code for my class, and follow the directions and listen to this video recording. English and reading teacher by trade, elementary, but we're going to be talking about financial literacy today. And if you're living in these United States of America, if you're not financially literate, you're not speaking English. And to be quite honest, most of us are not financially literate. Our essential question for today: what does it mean to be financially responsible? So before we go into the actual definition of that question, I'm gonna give you a few seconds to get together with your peers and answer that question. Come up with your own answer. So pause the video. When you're ready to come back, we'll come back. See you in a few. Welcome back. Again, our essential question was, what does it mean to be financially responsible? Being financially responsible can take on a lot of different meanings, but being financially responsible is thinking in the long term, making sure you're not making crazy purchases, unnecessary purchases, spending outside of your means, so spending more than you actually have, making sure you have something in savings for a rainy day, all the things of that nature. So being financially responsible is being able to take care of yourself and your family here and the now, and also in the future and for generations to come, that generational wealth. Let me ask you a question. What is the last big purchase you made? What was that purchase? What decisions and research went into it? Are you still happy with that purchase? Take a few seconds to answer that, and we'll be right back. Pause this video. All right, we're back. I asked a series of questions. The first one was, what is the last big purchase that you made? All right, the last big purchase that I made for myself was a home. That was the next question. What was the purchase? Now, what decisions and research went into it? Well, we had to look at my salary, my wife's salary, our current bills. We had to look around different areas and search for the right house that we're looking for, that had the things that we wanted, but also at the price that we could afford for a mortgage. We had to take into consideration that we're both near retirement. We're on the second half of our work journey. So all those things come into play when you're trying to make a purchase, especially a big purchase like a home or a car or financing college. You have to consider all of those things. What strategies did you all use when you were thinking about making a big purchase? So some of you might be thinking about purchasing a cell phone. What do you think about when you're going to purchase an item like a cell phone? Things to consider. You may look at the monthly plans, how much the bill is going to be, how much data you're going to need, text message, Wi-Fi, any kind of call limits, the cost of the phone, the care of the phone, Phones today are expensive. You're talking about a new iPhone, that's over $1,000. So is it worth it? Is your current phone still in good condition? Is it still usable? Do you actually need a cell phone? Not to just say you have the iPhone 10, for example, but if you have the iPhone 8 or 7, 6, 5, if it's working okay, then why do you need this purchase? Those are the types of things that you need to think about when it comes down to being financially literate. I want you to look, there's a couple of worksheets that are listed in the Google's Classroom setting. I want you to go over and take a look at them. One is called Distribute the Money Matters, Know the Lingo activity sheet. Go ahead and complete that. That has a lot of vocabulary, not a lot, but a few vocabulary words that you're going to need to be accustomed to in order to understand finances. Next, have you heard of the terms on the activity sheet before? If so, where have you heard them from? So you're going to answer these questions. The words that are on the activity sheet, if you ever heard of them, where have you heard them from? Was it on television? Did you hear them in the bank? Did you hear your parents talking about them, friends, on television, whatever the case may be? Were any of the concepts addressed in the class discussion about purchases? How do these strategies connect to the idea of financial responsibility? So the whole time we're thinking, talk with your classmates as well about what strategies they use, if any, when they're talking about making a financial purchase. It's real popular today in music and in songs where they say, money's not a thing. I spend a check and get it right back. I'm going to make it rain and all this kind of stuff. Well, in fantasy land, yeah, that's true. But if you go out in the real world and you're doing things like that and expect to have just endless amount of cash, that's not the case. Now, tell me as well what strategies that you use daily in your own lives to make financial purchases. Now, on the worksheets that I uploaded to Google Classroom, there's also a section that says that's going to be your challenge. What would you do? You're going to pick one of the scenarios, or you're supposed to pick one of the scenarios in the worksheet, but I invite you to do more than one scenario in which you have to come up with a strategy of what would you do in a specific situation. So make sure you answer those, type them out on the computer, save it, and upload it to the class so I can look at it and grade it. Also, be very careful. I was an English and reading teacher, elementary teacher, before stepping into administration. So sentence structure and the way you form those sentences are going to be very important. So please make sure that the mechanics of your sentences are together. Complete sentences, capitalization, all of those things are going to count. A very important question, what challenges did you face in addressing your scenarios, and how did you overcome these challenges? Share the websites you found the most helpful and why. So you are going to have to do some research to answer those questions. These are not things that you may know offhand, so some website ideas are provided on the worksheet. And then at the end of your paperwork that you submit to Google Classroom, I want a reflection. Reflect and journal in your notebooks about how making responsible financial decisions can lead to financial well-being over a lifetime. What other financial decisions will they likely be faced with? Students, consider the importance of making decisions that take into account financial information like income, expenses, budgets, and goals. Those are 4 vocabulary words that you really need to become well versed in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go ahead and knock it out. Feel free to collaborate on this. And I'll see you on tomorrow for the part 2, which we'll be talking about dream big, money, and goals.